So you have that white poster sheet.
Okay. This one's mine. Fortune 500.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Good one.
And over here. My wife will shoot me, but I'm keeping this one. Healthy garden. Anybody out? There we go.
There you go. I like all the pictures in the wall. This is what I want.
Pictures, but that's what we're doing. We're going through these magazines. They're like dream books. We're gonna find. Now you may not find your actual dream in there because maybe your dream isn't this type of thing. But this is just to illustrate how you can do this. You can go home and make up your own dream board with which maybe your dream board is a different thing. Maybe it's a legacy for your grandkids or. And it's not in that book, but this is just to show you how it goes. Can you explain that? Everybody back from Dreamland. Here we are. That was good. I saw some dreaming activated. We primed that pump. We got it going. All right. So when you go home, what you can do with these when you go home is you can take that number you have. That's like your private personal goal. And you don't do it here, but you can do it at home. And it's kind of sacred. I recommend you don't share your dreams with people who, unless you're certain they're going to say, yeah, you can do it. So you just, when you write that number and you're going to cut it out and you're going to put that in the middle of your dream board pictures there. And when you wake up the last thing before you go to sleep at night, when you're just getting all warm and cozy and it's like so good, you've been working all day, you're in bed, it's and you're feeling really happy about that and grateful for the bed and just kind of reviewing, you just look at that dream board and put yourself in the picture. There's three things. Put yourself in the picture. See the dream through your own eyes and feel the feeling that you're going to have as if you already have it. Okay? So for example, a good example, just for easy example, the red Porsche. You see the red Porsche, but you don't just see the red Porsche or a picture of yourself in the red Porsche. Well, you see the red Porsche, but then when you see yourself in the red Porsche, it's like you have your hands on the steering wheel, okay? And you see your hands and you're looking out the windshield and you're feeling how it corners and the vibration of that and you're feeling so good. Or whatever the motivation, just because you love the way it drives or you like the way people look at you when you're driving, or whatever it is, you're feeling that. So that's what you're going to do before you drop off. And then in the morning, when you wake up, that's the first thing you see, and that same process. Because that's a really good alpha wave spot to get this into your subconscious. And then, the next, so the ideal feeling you want to have about dreams and goals, it's that you feel as if you already have it and you don't care that you don't have it yet. Two things. So one quick thing is so this number that we've all picked, I picked one too, and it's a little bit off the radar screen. It's a little, I don't exactly know how I'm going to get there. So that's your radar screen, right? And this is maybe the numbers that you've done before and how you got there. That's the part you know. But out here, coming in, those are people, circumstances, events, opportunities that you don't see yet. But now you know they're out there. And this is for Ness. So what it is You're writing an application, you're in a senior apartment building. You just put them on someone on a plan, and it gave them what they wanted. They thank you, they give you some fudge they just made, they're so happy. You go down to the manager of the apartment and you say, I just met with Mr. and Mrs. Jones and I helped them to get blah, blah, blah. And they're so happy. Or better yet, some of them will even walk me down and introduce me. Okay? And then I say, this is what I do. I just, these are amazing words I'm giving you. I don't even give the people, and my team, yes, but none of those grumpy ones at the, I'll say, I would absolutely love to help. Absolutely love. Absolutely love. It does something. It opens doors. And I mean, you have to be sincere, because I did absolutely love helping them in the thank yous and stuff. And then, would there be a good day that I could come in and just have an information table so that I could help your other residents that are on Medicare, so that they'd have more? And you should see it. I mean, yes, and they'll go on, what day is the best? So that's a really great way. And then if you do this, now it's a little, we're already in AEP, but maybe you have some contacts. This stuff will start coming to you. Your church, now that you've got this number and you know that maybe it's a little off your radar screen, start looking what's coming in, what you're seeing, observing. Yeah, apartment complexes. Oh, one of the agents even went to a laundromat. But what you do is you talk to the manager. You don't just go in and stick up a flyer. You talk to the manager, and then you put up your flyer. And that manager sends you people. Okay? And you don't even just go in there once. So I have, and the little extra things you do for people, when they call you up, it's probably a habit for all of you, but just in case it's not, I have another habit along with absolutely love. I have a habit of, at the end, everything is warm and fuzzy, they got what they wanted, and they're thanking me, and I say, and I love it when you share me with people, because you can't ask for referrals. And I give them a few extra cards at that time. I might say one to use and one to lose, and I love it when you share me with people. And then send them a thank you card. After that, send them a thank you card. Put 2-3 more cards in. And when do you send the thank you card? Immediately, when they're still warm and fuzzy. And I get lots and lots that way. And of course, I call them around the time they should have gotten their card. Did you get your card? Can I help you? Because this is retention. Somebody wanted to know about retention. This is huge for retention. And take the time to send them a birthday card. I get constant referrals. It is so worth it. So how to first get them, maybe you have to work a little harder, do the information tables. But then, yeah, that thank you card, I cannot emphasize enough. And remembering their birthday. I don't think you need to do holiday cards. That's me personally. I feel like they're inundated with cards, but their birthday. I have people calling me every week. And we must send out about 100 or so a week. And then so the referrals come in, All right. And I mean, obviously you're all,
Question.
Uh-huh.
You say you send out about 100
birthday cards.
a week?
Do you use a program?
I just use, actually I do. I use ACT, but you don't have to. That's just because I don't know how to program Excel.
Okay.
But if you're good with another program.
Okay.
Yeah, so I pull up those dates.
Okay, well, I do that with all my AE, ACA, and my Medicare clients. And this is something I started this year. And so you've been doing it for a while because it's working for you, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So if you send out 100 a week, and it's 52 weeks in a year.
Okay, so my math's off. Maybe it's 100.
That's a lot of clients.
1,000 a week?
No. I do have about that many clients.
Yeah, Maxine's
So-
not that often.
No.
So it's not that often.
It's not that often.
Maybe it's a month.
100 a month.
1,200. Not quite 100 a month, thank you. I'm glad I have my fact checker.
And do you have a source for the birthday cards? A company that you use?
That's a great question. In the beginning, I just went down to Marshall's and bought the cute cards. And I really recommend, this is just me, but this is another tip I don't share with many people. Have you've been sitting in their house and you've seen the stacks of mail they get with all the slick corporate mailings. Now, I can do slick corporate mailings with the best of them. Do they need another slick corporate mailing in their haystack? And so another tip is like make it a different sized envelope. Hand write it if you can. I mean, that gets impractical after a while. Hire someone to do it. I mean, anything to stand out so you don't look like another slick corporate advertisement.
Okay, so right now, I'm using kind of a standard type envelope, but the address, name and address is handwritten.
That's good.
And I sign every card, I don't, no stamp, it just, I sign them personally, sometimes I make notes and stuff like that.
Perfect.
But
That's great. Do you put your cards in?
I put several cards in.
Awesome,
I want
awesome.
to keep them about 2 or 3 loose.
All right. So that's it. So standing out, right, is important, and putting your personal touch on it, because really that's what we're marketing, is us. Shh, don't tell them. That's who we're marketing. We talked about the radar. Oh, okay. So now that I've done that, so here's this dream you want. This one maybe we didn't even really work on today. This is the dream, you can't even see it all, it's so big. Maybe that's the dream, that's your legacy. That it might take 2 or 3 generations to bring that one in. And that probably wasn't in those books. But then you have this other dream that's here. And this one, I picked the red Porsche or the beautiful home because that's easier to visualize and use as an example. So this is your dream.
Is that Porsche a churro?
Absolutely. It has to be.
Yeah.
And then you're over here. But see, what we're doing is we're aligning it. So this is me, or you. We're over here. And this is the thing that's missing in this kind of training. I don't know if any of you have had any, maybe you have, kind of training, and this is our chief aim, which is our number. But that's going to drive us this direction. It's going to drive us this direction. But we're over here. Now, how do we get here? And there's probably a lot of them. These are the next logical steps. Those are those things I was talking to you about, while you're on your call. Being open to what's the other opportunity here. I'm open to receive. Opportunity is everywhere. I get to choose. So you're going to take that next logical step, and that's going to move you here. Okay? So everything is all aligned. It's like you're looking through, when you have that dream board, when you're doing these things, you're looking through everything at your dreams. And this is what's that's what motivates me to do all this. To keep going, because of my dreams but the other motivational seminars is dream big, you do so big, and how do you get there? We get there through right where we are, because we're in a huge opportunity spot. Okay, so that, and the best way to do this part, there's another thing. Okay, time management. Time management to me doesn't really work. Okay? It's nothing new. A lot of this stuff is around, but it's been replaced by electronics. But back in the 1920s, great, huge American fortunes were being made. Andrew Carnegie, he's the one who commissioned Napoleon Hill to do the book. Think and Grow Rich. He had U.S. Steel, and he had Charles Schwab running U.S. Steel for him. He was the richest man in the world. Efficiency. He only worked about 4 hours a day, and he spent months in Scotland. But anyway, he had Charles Schwab running U.S. Steel, and a consultant, he accepted for a consultant to come in and consult with him on his business. And this consultant was very, very highly recommended, so he let him in. And he met with him, and after going through the consultant went through the way Mr. Schwab was doing everything, and his recommendation was that Charles Schwab, instead of doing, at 8 o'clock I'm going to do this, at 9 o'clock I'm going to do this, at 10 o'clock I'm going to do this, so on and so forth, that he make a list of priorities in order of priority, not time. So the number one most important thing of the day was the first thing that he would do, and he would set everything aside till that thing was done. And he said, Charles Schwab said, I can't do that because of this, because of that, because of this. And the consultant said, okay, just try it. If you want to try it, you don't have to pay me anything. Just try it for 30 days. Don't pay me anything. Try it for 90 days. Don't pay me anything. And Charles Schwab was pretty impressed with that, so he tried it. And in 30 days, and this is back in the 1920s, he sat down and wrote that consultant a check for $1 million. So you can imagine what that did for that company to do things that way. So when I heard that story, I started doing that. And I've been doing that 3 or 4 or 5 years now. So my number one priority, well, of course, it's my AM power hour. But then right after that is it's setting appointments. Well, writing apps for the appointment. Writing apps, submitting the apps I wrote yesterday, writing more apps today, setting appointments. And I do them in that order. That's what I do. And so a lot of other stuff, I have my mental earmuffs on and it's just out. And I get to it after those things. So I make sure, whose dreams are you dreaming? I make sure I'm dreaming my dreams and I'm doing activity that brings me results for my dream. Not because everybody's wanting you to do other things, but you want to make sure you get your things done, which are writing applications, setting appointments, submitting those applications. And then you can have a few others. Returning calls, following through, sending out birthday cards. In that order, okay? So it just about wraps up what I had on my agenda. Did anybody have any ahas they want to share?
I have an aha.
Okay.
You said something earlier about be careful what you say. This morning I had to take my car in for service, and it was right near where my daughter lived. And the last time I was there, a couple weeks ago, I said, if they ever move that sign that say bingo, I'm going to be totally lost. Today, I went to look for my daughter's apartment. I was totally lost.
Oops, how powerful you
I
are.
spoke it 2 weeks ago, and it came to pass today. I drove up and down Wells Road trying to find her apartment until I started using other things. But you do have to be careful about what you say.
Yes. I got 2 more things that I almost forgot to tell you that are really important. The other half of that dream board, that's where you're going to put your scorecard, okay? So that, because this is a game. We care, but not that much. Because if we care, but too much, it's not fun. So if we care, but not that much. That's how we were able to set these goals. So the number that you pick, this is a little secret. You want it to be in your sweet spot. So what's your sweet spot? It's a number that's big enough to excite you, but not not so big that you can't believe it. So it's small enough that you believe that you can do it, but big enough to excite you. Okay? Small enough you believe it, but big enough that it excites you. So last year was the first year I did this scorecard technique. Just keeping an eye on the score. And I say this kind of jokingly, but it seemed to be the truth, that you move it up with your mind. So you can do the score any way you want. I did a simple graph, a grid. I just did this. And I took a little regular letter size paper and I put it on my office wall. And the person I was training that was sharing the office, she said, so she's doing everything I do, so she did that. And I had to put another paper up here. I thought this was where I was going to stop, but I had to stick another one, So, and then this is also really key because you want to feel good while you're doing, when you think about your goal, you want to feel good. So along the way, you want to feel like a winner. So a couple of things I do is I'll go to that priority list every day. At the end of the day, I check in and, great job, Carolyn. Even if I just did number 1, it was huge because that was such an important one. But, just that. And then here, let's say, and you can do this any way you want to. Eva did it like this. She did steps. And every time she had 5, she did something really nice for herself. You could say, whoopee, it's, October 15th, I wrote 1, yay! You really just don't wait till you get here. So maybe the first one is like a big yay, and then when you do 2, wow, I just doubled my number. Right, woohoo! How do you do it? Then 4, woohoo! And before you know it, you're just I hope some of you do that, and I can't wait to hear what happens. So any other ahas?
Now, I was going to ask you for aha. Ness had you to come in and talk about this, and this is great, and I really appreciate you coming out this way to help us. But can you give us some figures on your success, how you started, things of that nature? Kind of, I guess I'm kind of a number man, so okay. give me some numbers, so to help me push that aha out, because I'm like, well, I look at things, I look at people, I'm gonna tell you, in my life, I look at folks and I say, gee, if that person could do it, I could do it. I'm not that bad of a person. I remember going through life and different things, playing football, where those guys could do it. There's not that many people out there better than me.
So you want to hear where I was when I started?
Yeah, just tell me, and then tell me what your success over the years.
In relationship to this, the number?
Yes.
My very first month in the business, I wrote 2 applications.
Okay, that's like
and I was thrilled. It was like, I'm like, 2 applications, great going, come on. And the next month I wrote 4. And the next month I wrote 8. So,
How many you write at the end of the year? What was your total at the end of the year?
so
That's the question. That's what. Mike needs to know because he's been the top man in Jacksonville, and you want to make sure you didn't beat him.
That's an ACA.
So your first year, you might go here. But don't forget, you're adding in your renewals. So if you do that again next year, you're up here. And then you do it another year, and you just don't quit. You keep adding on till we're up here in the clouds somewhere. I don't even know what's up here.
Whoa.
Do you know what I mean? So the height of your success is directly connected to the depth of your desire. Okay, and on the how, you can only go as high as your foundation is deep. So we've got to have it all. But, these things, they're not numbers. But for me, I tested really high on SAT scores in math, okay? And I like numbers. I'll sit and fiddle with numbers. So numbers are good, and you want to use your numbers, and you want to know the score. So, but success, self-confidence, self-control, patience, persistence, and all this stuff is proven. Determination, ever increasing and expanding. That's like a mountain climber. That's like a world-class athlete, you know? Then their numbers are getting smaller and smaller. Now they're just going to beat their last performance by a second, and they've broken a world record. So just wherever you are, what's your next number? And then you can break it down in a way that works for you, because we're all different. All right? Any other ahas, questions?
Quick question. Do you spend time calling your book of business?
Absolutely.
year-round?
Thank you so much for bringing that up. That is another huge source of referrals.
Year-round?
I do. You know, when you have 1,000 clients, you can't. But I also do mailings. You know, not too many. You know, a few on top of the birthday cards. But particularly if I know they're in a plan that I'm getting some complaints about, I'm going to be proactive and I'm calling everybody. Oh, you know, I'm getting good feedback from blah 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 carrier. How are they treating you? You know, because I want to hear it first, so that I keep them. Anything else?
Questions? Some about that obvious. How do we go from 2 or 4 or 8? And I like how each time doubles. If you do that 30 times, it's a staggering number. But how did we go from 8 apps a month? What do we do on a consistent basis? It got from 8 apps a month to 16 apps a month, now 30 apps a month.
Setting appointments in the early part. Sometimes I would make. I thought of it. Well, first I thought of it like 100 phone calls, and I got like 10 appointments. But I changed it up, and I look at it like Thomas Edison. He said, somebody interviewed him and said, you had 10,000 failures when you were, you know, you had 10,000 failures in trying to invent the light bulb. He said, no, I didn't. I had 10,000 successful ways I found that didn't work. So, and the other way and then what I really stuck with was, I'm a gold miner. I got this list of 100 people to call or to mail to or whatever. I'm not focusing on the dirt. I'm focusing on the gold. Where's the gold? So if I get a little nugget of gold out of a pan of dirt, woohoo! So it's all, again, there's the how, but the how doesn't serve you without the attitude behind it. That's what I keep coming back to. But I did it.
I think that's a great example, because when we tell folks you need to build the relationships with it might be baby towers or senior centers or assisted living facilities. We'll go in and we'll try let's try 3 today, and they might get 3 no's. Bam, bam, bam. And then they'll go back the next day and they go, oh, it's just awful. And I'm like, well, listen, you're not going to get a yes every single time. If that was the case, we'd all be retired here. We'd all do this. But if you go after 10 and then you have 1, well, that's obviously 1 more than you had before. And not only, you've gotten a little better at your craft. And the next time, when you go to your 11th, 12th, and 13th one, you're now saying, and I work over here at Baby Towers and they have us brought in here. So it's nice to see that you're consistently looking for the little gold nugget, because it's not 10 out of 10. Let's just say it's 1 a month. You went around and you spent the entire month looking for 1 place for you to speak. So now, during AEP, you've got 12 places you need to be, all in 7 weeks. That'll keep you very, very busy. And it's nice to know that you understand you're not looking for the dirt. You're looking for the gold. And the gold isn't everywhere. You have to sift through it to find the place that allows you to come in and allows you to do your craft. But also, more importantly, sometimes you come across a big chunk of gold that you weren't expecting, because that one assisted living facility, that's the manager that runs the other 7. And when you do a good job for her, you're like, oh my gosh, this is a gold mine. And it's a big difference going from that to a little pan, and we've seen that before.
That's right, you hit a vein.
Exactly.
You're at the table in assisted living and they bring them all out, and you write up 7 or whatever. So.
Was there anything that you found that was you were able to do consistent throughout the year or even during AEP or open enrollment that allowed you to grow your numbers and then also allow you to work through AEP that you've just seen was it successful, or was it just working the apartments and the senior centers?
Narrowing it down again, focus, like picking a number of referring partners, right? The referring partners, because it's the managers that I work with, as well as my clients or their residents. But that if you can't drop in and see them, if you don't have the time to get in and see them regularly, bring that manager, an orchid or some cookies or something. If you can't do that regularly, you're just going to do it once. You might as well not do. That's not efficient. So I have maybe 5, 6 that I have a constant. They see me all year round. That's my pipeline.
Did you just say 5 or 6? Mm-hmm. And when I thought we were being slow if we just did 1 a month for 12. So you're half that.
Because I'm getting in to see them all the time. But I'm picking them. I'm going to the HUD site and seeing, I'm not doing that with a 10-unit complex.
Right. No, I just think that's fantastic. The numbers that you're able to generate with just working with 5, 6, or 7 referral sources.
That's because I might be in a different place than somebody who's in their first or second year. So thank you for pointing that out. In our place, we have clients that's a private to keep in touch with too, right? But when I was in my first and second years, not my first year, it was like, so I didn't have anybody to follow. But in my second year, then it would be more like 2. I had more time. I didn't have the birthday cards. So I did mailings. I did list calling. I did a lot of events. Probably 2. My newbies, when they come on, they're doing 2 a week. So thank you.